Hello, everyone. Hey, Diana. I am
Hey,
so excited to be here with you. Hi,
I'm
everybody.
excited as well. Merry Christmas Eve, I guess is the term, right?
It is Merry Christmas Eve. Today is December 23rd,
Mhm.
and Coach Diana and I are super excited to be here with you today. Hello, hello. You are in the right place. If you are on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube on Leslie Vernick's public platform, Enriching Relationships That Matter Most. I see we have many people jumping in with us
Oh,
here,
nice.
Diana, in this space. So grateful to be here with you all. We're so glad that you're here. You're joining us live. You're maybe watching the replay a little bit later, but we want you to know we're ready to have a conversation today. And we're going to hold it with love and care because Diana and I are real women with real lives, just like you.
Mm,
And so we're going to ask some questions. And one of them, right, Diana, is who would I be if I
absolutely.
truly believed I was enough? Truly believed I was enough like today, not someday, not when life settles down, not when everybody agrees with me, but right now.
Who would
And
I
so
truly
together we're going
believe?
to explore this as
Mm,
something to be lived.
I'm so glad to be here as well. And this is such a great question because I think what could be different for us if we moved into this new season, really recognizing that we are enough and
Mm.
living our life out of that certainty with that confidence.
What
Yeah.
would be different? That's pretty huge right there.
Yes. What would be different?
And so I would love it. Go ahead and type into the chat. Type it in. If you truly believed you are enough, what might you do? What might be different for you? Go ahead and type it into the chat.
What
Hi,
would be different if I truly believed I was enough? That's so powerful. And yeah,
you know, our heart is leaning in. If you would believe that you are truly enough, what would be different for you? Oh, I don't know what happened to Diana. Hopefully she will be back, but here we are. All right. Good morning, Jana. Good morning. So, what would be different if you truly believe that you are enough? To truly believe that you are enough means some things. And there are some stories in this. I believe that if we believe that we are enough, we're going to acknowledge our worth as a complete and valuable human with flaws and all, independent of all the things that we achieve or everybody else's approval.
hmm
If we believe that we are enough, we're going to accept our imperfect self and we're going to find some joy in our existence. Welcome back, Diana. I missed
Thank
you.
you. What could be different if I believed my equipment was enough?
Oh, okay. We could do some coaching around that. What would be different for you if you believed your equipment was enough? What would be different in the environment that you're in?
Well, let's think about that. I wouldn't live on edge. I would have certainty that I could show up well. I mean, this is so applicable to what we're talking about, right? But because I'm not certain that my equipment is going to show up well for me, there's a little bit of anxiety, I would say, right?
Well,
Yeah.
understandably so, Diana. And thanks for being authentic and real because we don't need to pretend here. And I think that's something, perfectly imperfect is how we're coming into this space. And
Hmm.
sometimes this is such a beautiful, I mean, I'm sorry that it happened to you. And I'm glad it happened to you because we get to be real in the moment.
We do.
And, I'm looking at the chat right now, and Kristen is saying, for me, it's believing I'm worthy of good things.
Mm,
And I'm seeing I would stop worrying about what other people say and be only concerned with what God says.
that would be such an empowering space to be in.
Wouldn't it?
It would
And so
be.
there was a reason, Diana, when your computer, your camera, whatever happened, glitched on you a minute ago, you could have chosen not to come back, but you chose to come back. So what part of you pushed reconnect?
Well, just the solution focused part of me, there has to be a way forward, right? I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to give up. I want to continue trying.
Mm,
And,
that's
we're talking about this Facebook Live here, and, and yeah, it's so applicable to our lives, right?
well, it is. And you gave yourself permission to push reset. You gave your computer permission to push reset. And you weren't worried. Well, maybe you were. I don't I
Well,
don't think you were worried about what
I was in
everybody.
problem-solving mode, and I am having equipment problem, as you can see by my lighting, but I'm here, and I'm here, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you're here. And we're going to seek some growth today, right? We are going
Absolutely.
to lean in. We're going to talk with these women about our worth. First Peter or Second Peter 1:3 says, his divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness through the
Mhm.
knowledge of him who called us into his own glorious excellence.
Love that.
That's a pretty powerful passage. Maybe y'all have some worthy passages that you want to put into the chat. But something that I know for sure, Diana and I see this all the time as we coach women. And even as I sit with myself, I can confuse enoughness with complacency,
Mm.
with pride, selfishness, even some arrogance. I can. So if we're really clear, believing that you are enough doesn't mean you stop growing. It means that you stop growing from a place of shame.
I love that, Leanne.
Hmm.
I think that our heart knows where we're leaning when we answer that question. If I truly believed I was enough, what might be different? And I think to truly believe that you're enough means that you're recognizing your inner worth as a complete, valuable human. And that's assigned to us by God, right? He provides our worth based on the fact that he's called us, that he's chosen us, and really that he came to save us. What a perfect time to really illustrate that, right? And, I think about believing that we're enough is to find joy in our existence. And that I just think, Leanne, that includes setting boundaries and giving ourselves permission to grow and to be authentic, which I think is a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
It is. And I love it. It's action oriented, right? Enoughness doesn't mean passivity. It
No.
grounds us. It grounds us. And it helps us to align with truth. We talk a lot here at Leslie Vernick and Co., right? About alignment, about aligning ourselves with the Lord, with our values, with truth. And if we are going to align with enoughness,
Mhm.
it takes some determination. Because okay, I'll just speak from me. I can feel that I'm too much sometimes. And I can feel that I am not enough.
Wow, those are good parallels. And that can really seek to slay you if you camp in that.
Mhm. And if that's you too, can I just say that we're not broken?
Right.
We're not broken. We are aware and we're growing in our awareness every single day. And part of why we do these lives here in this space is to keep us sharp as coaches, to help us walk with you as women who desire to keep Christ at the center during the holiday season and beyond.
I love that. I'd like to know in the chat, for those of you when you think about the lies that you're believing, that you're not enough, like when you say, Leanne, that sometimes I'm too much and sometimes I'm not enough, my mind goes to the curious question of, yeah, but what does that sound like in your mind? What are those sentences, those words that you're rehearsing in your inner self that keep you locked into what we've identified as shame-based talk? What might that sound like? And I'm wondering for the audience, what does that sound like when you're telling yourself you're not enough or possibly you're too much?
Diana, that's such a great question. I look forward to seeing into the chat as well. And for whatever reason, my chat's locking up. So I hope that yours is. Technology is going to be our friend or our foe today, but we are not going to let that stop us. But one thing I'll tell you, for me, while we're waiting for the chat to populate, how it shows up for me, I'm not enough or I am too much. I'll tell you something that just happened to me
Okay.
this past weekend at church. So I sometimes sing off key.
Do you?
I have a really hard time occasionally finding the right, I don't even know what you call it. I'm not trained in voice at all.
The notes.
Yeah, and the harmony and all the things. I'm not real skilled at that. But I remember thinking to myself while I was worshiping, this just happened. What is it, Tuesday today? This just happened to me on Sunday. Or actually, I went to church Saturday night. It happened to me on Saturday night that I was singing, and I was really worried that I was going to be a distraction to the people around me because I was singing a particular song, what I thought was off key. And I was worried I was too much or not enough to, what is that? I mean, I'm just keeping it real. That's where I was.
So you were thinking you were disturbing the heavenly chorus.
Yeah, I do not have that much power to hear you say it like that. I'm like, oh yeah. That's just pride. That's just arrogance on my part.
Well, and self-contempt. Yeah. Sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves and not in the moment, not enjoying who God's designed us to be because we're worried about, not being enough or being too much.
Yeah. And I'm seeing Christina is saying, I think I second guess myself.
Right.
And that's how it shows up for her. I'm not enough. I'm too much, or I second guess myself. So that self-doubt piece is really big. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder what that would be like if you could be confident in what you know and confident in yourself. And, Leanne, we're making an invitation along with our chat today about growing in that confidence of who you are. And we're inviting you to a wonderful group that we're starting in January, Empowered to Change. And really, empowered change is a big part of that, isn't it, Leanne? Growing confident in who we are, discovering those aspects of ourselves that we want to celebrate, and walking with one another step by step in what it looks like to walk that out.
Well, it is. And I'm going to put up that link for us here real quick if I can get it to show. Hang on one second.
Let me know if you need some help.
Yeah. Oh, I think I got it.
All right.
We're working on it. We're working on it. And Diana, I think when we get into that spiral of not good enough or self-doubt, there's some costs that happen in that space when we get there. And when you mentioned empowered to change, I can imagine some of the women here in our space are thinking, well, I would like to change the fact that I live in self-doubt. I would like to change the fact that I'm thinking I'm not enough or I'm too much. I would like to change the fact that I sing off key and just realize that I am making a joyful noise to the Lord. And how can I start to change the thoughts that can keep me in stuck spaces?
Yeah, let's talk honestly about the cost, because I think staying where we're at isn't neutral. Staying the same is not neutral. What we tolerate shapes and limits our life, and it shrinks our peace, our voice, and our God-given confidence. And Leanne, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's easy for me to choose comfort over courage with the illusion of safety. But I find that when we do that, we miss out on the life that God invites us to.
We totally do. I agree with you 100%. And we can make different choices. We can. You know, I'm going to speak from personal experience for me, and then I'm going to invite our listeners to chime in as well. But when me as a woman doesn't believe that I am enough, I can have the habit or pattern of overing.
Hmm.
Many people have probably heard me share that over the years here in this ministry. That is over explaining, over giving, over serving, over functioning. And when I am overing for everybody and everything else, I am under living. I am under living. And under living could be silencing myself, erasing myself, and staying the same and not making the change will cost me more than change ever will.
And you know, Leanne, I think when you're living over who you're meant to be, you're not allowing everybody the opportunity to know who you really are. And so we're missing the real you when that happens.
Well, we are. And,
Yeah.
we can honestly, I can't speak. We can honestly say here in this space, or I have often thought somebody doesn't really know me. Or I can think, I really don't know that person that's sitting across from me. And
Mhm.
then the Lord will remind me, put a little tap on my shoulder to take a breath and ask myself a very real question. Am I allowing myself to be fully known? And then I go even deeper still, Diana. Do I even really know who I am? And am I even aware of how I'm engaging with the world around me?
Mm. Those are really deep questions, Leanne.
They are. I go deep. Hey, it's Advent season. We may as well go deep because
Yeah.
fourth week of Advent is all about love. And
And
love comes beautifully into this space.
well, I think this is a good season for self reflection and asking yourselves those questions rather than reacting to what we're stepping into. And many of us are going to be with family over the holidays. What would be different if you'd stepped in just really with confidence and curiosity about observing yourself in relation to your relationships, in relation to your life? Rather than living outside of yourself, really, whether it's over functioning. You know, you talk about when you don't believe you're enough, you overdo it. I am the opposite. I go away. I isolate. Yeah. I stay to myself, and that also doesn't give others the opportunity to be with me. It doesn't give me the opportunity to be with others as well. And so, you know, the cost of staying the same is not knowing that change that will bring us vitality and life as God has called us to.
Diana, I love that word vitality. Vitality in life. If we are going to live fully alive, there are going to be some shifts and changes in our lives that we get to embrace in order to do that. There are going to be some lies we need to let go of. There are going to be some beliefs that we have held so tightly to
Right.
that we're going to have to release in order to make room for new. And this can be risky. It can be scary, a little bit unsettling in the moment, and it can be totally transformational and 100% life-giving.
I think that our body tells us the truth, and sometimes we avoid the cost of change because you said it can be unsettling. That's a great word. It's unsettling to step into something that you can't see or that you haven't realized before, right? And yet the cost of not stepping into believing my worth and living that out can cost me a huge sense of myself, right? And it can take a toll on our bodies as well, as you mentioned. You know, but what we're here to do is challenge those lies that you believe. Because I think that when we don't challenge those lies or the ways that we're talking to ourselves, it is way too costly for our lives. And it takes us into living much smaller than we're meant to.
Diana, that's so good. How many of you can relate to living smaller than you were created to live?
Mm.
You know, Psalm 139 is one of my favorites, right? And it talks about that we are knit together in our mother's wombs, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And then it begs us to lean into the fact, does our soul know it full well? And Diane, I love that you brought up our body remembers, our body knows, so does our brain, and our very soul feels it, like down into our bones.
Absolutely.
Down into our bones. Okay. I see some of our friends are here in the space saying, yep, I know what it means to live smaller than what God intended.
Yeah. And I think that often, we haven't challenged our worth. We don't even recognize sometimes. And I'm so grateful that we're talking on this topic today, because sometimes we don't even know that we are carrying a false identity and a lack of worth. Yeah.
We don't. How do we figure that out? How do we figure that out? Well, one way we figure it out is to realize that we can't do it on our own.
Absolutely.
That we can't continue to isolate or think that we have to figure it all out on our own. And that's part of why we are coming live to you today and many other times these last couple of weeks, is because we have a coaching opportunity for you at Empowered to Change, which begins the week of January 12th, 2026. And we have live group coaching opportunities that we are opening up to women just like you who want to see the change, who want to stop living small and start living loved and understand their worth and their value. And if you go to leslievernick.com/change, there'll be a video from Leslie and a bunch of information about this amazing 6-month group coaching program that we would love to invite you into. We invite you warmly to join our coaching family.
It is an open invitation, and we will be filling up our spots soon. So if you would like something to be different, take some time aside from the plans that you have this week and go check it out on the website listed on our page. We'd love to have you in our groups. Well, Leanna,
yeah, go ahead, Diana.
I know that we had planned to let our ladies see a little bit about what coaching looks like. And you have a great experience coming up, which I know you're looking forward to. We're going to miss you a bit while you're away. But let's give our ladies an opportunity for me to coach you around this decision that you've made and that you have said has tested your ability to believe in your enoughness.
Well, I love that. How many of you would like to see a little bit of a coaching demo? We've been talking about coaching groups all the time. You've seen a little bit, but if you would like to see a coaching demo, just type into the chat a why, just real quick. We all have an opportunity to make choices on how it is that we're going to engage with the world around us and engage with ourselves. All right. And so I do. Okay. I'm seeing some whys come in the chat, Diana. So for those of you who don't know, this coming year, I'm going to be taking a sabbatical for just a little bit of time to walk the Camino de Santiago in Spain. I'm going to be walking the French way, the northern part of Spain, 500 miles.
Oh, geez.
500 miles on foot. Yep. And I'm not doing this as an escape. I'm not doing this as a reward, but I'm doing this as a response to God's invitation to me and to say yes to him. He stirred up a lot in me, and he wants to replace some of the old stories that I have about my worth, my responsibility. And if you've heard me speak a lot about giving myself permission, writing myself permission slips to be all God created me to be. So that's something that I am leaning into. I still have a little bit of nervousness and anxiety around it, wondering if I can do it. And so Diana is going to coach me a little bit today and help me walk this out in real time in front of you.
All right. So I have a question for you. When you think about walking the Camino, what belief about enough gets tested the most for you?
Well, there's a bunch. And I think one of them that comes up for me is that I have to earn time off. I have to earn time off. Another one that comes up for me is that slowing down or resting or taking time for myself means that I'm being irresponsible. I'm being irresponsible to my team. I'm being irresponsible to my family. And perhaps I'm letting them down. So those are a couple that come up for me that can cause me to think that I am wrong in some way. And I could ask myself, Diana, even this question: have you really done enough to deserve this time, financial, and heart investment that you're going to make?
You know, thank you so much for your vulnerability, Leanne, and for giving us these examples, because you've really shown how it shows up in so many different ways, and the questions that you've wrestled with. So I'm wondering what voices or expectations try to talk you out of choosing this.
Okay, some of them are pride. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking that. And even to hear you say that, my heart is beating a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. So there's even the pride that I can have that other people are counting on you to continue to show up and to be here. And the voice that can go on repeat is, you're needed. Don't rock the boat. Don't change anything, because it's going to be disruptive.
So how does that equate to pride?
And incomplete.
Okay. To say a little bit more about pride.
All right, here we go, girls. We're getting real. All right. So what do you want to know about pride as I take a sip? Hang on, I'm going to take a sip of something, because this is a big topic.
I'm afraid to move my computer a little bit. I don't want to. Okay. So you said that the voice that says you're needed, don't rock the boat, is tied to pride. Say a little bit more about that.
Well, I can think that I am more important than I am, or more valuable than I am. And I can also think, ooh, okay, this is coming up for me in the moment. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, I'll be unnecessary. Oh, wow. You're really nailing it, Leanne. Yes, you're getting down to those deeper parts of ourself that really fear those. Those can really drive our behavior.
Well, it can. And Diana, I think something else that comes up for me as we're talking about this right now is when I am in pride or self-doubt, or there's a lot of insecurity, because for me, a lot of pride stuff can show up as insecurity. Yeah. It causes me to get out of alignment. It causes me to get out of alignment with God and with my values.
You really gave us a great illustration about how pride is tied to insecurity. That was good. Thanks.
Well, thanks. You know, this is real, because I think one thing for me, I can coach a lot of women through all of these topics. But if I'm not fully living it from the inside out, there's going to be a tension.
Yes.
So if my actions don't mask or match what God's either inviting me into or what I'm saying out of my mouth, then I'm not fully being myself. And you know how we talked earlier, right, about being ourselves and allowing others to fully know us?
Yes.
Fully know ourselves and to be fully known. And so for me, pride can be very fatiguing, and it can disconnect me from who I really am. So
you said something really powerful that I heard, that your actions can either mask or they can, what was the other word you used? Was it mirror?
Oh, maybe. Now I'm in the moment. Yeah. I'm in the moment. Maybe our readers or our listeners can chime in. Yeah. The bottom line is Oh,
I love
sorry. Go
that you
ahead. We're
said that,
excited.
though, because your actions can either mask who you really are intended to be, or they can mirror your authentic self. And when we walk in those fears and those lies about our worth or pride that's connected to insecurity, it's really easy to put on a mask, isn't it?
Well, it is. It is. And that I oftentimes people put on masks because they don't trust themselves or they don't trust God.
Right.
And they don't trust the people in front of them. And not everybody is a safe person. And so,
Good points.
pride can cause me to drift in and out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Masking can threaten my integrity.
I love that. Thank
And
you.
sometimes it's a really slow fade in integrity.
Oh, we could unpack this for the next half hour. Just those points that you just nailed in terms of your old voices.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering, Leanne, what would it cost you to not honor this invitation?
That almost, even to hear you share that, it almost makes my body shake and shiver.
Mm.
I mean, it was really hard for me to say yes to the invitation from God to do this. It was very challenging for me to find my words to share it with my family and friends.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous about sharing it with our team.
Mm.
And then I asked myself the question that you just asked me. What will it cost you, Leanne, if you don't do this? It would cost me my joy.
Mm.
It would cost me my integrity and my identity, because I wouldn't be living, again, that congruency with the Lord. I wouldn't be living. And then I think that my joy would be so zapped that I wouldn't be able to be the coach that God calls me to be, the woman, the grandma, the friend, the wife that God calls me to be.
Mm.
And that I am not willing to go there. I'm not willing to be less than who God's called me to be.
You keep challenging yourself, don't you?
I do. I do, because God keeps challenging me. And I believe that if I'm here on this earth and God has given me breath, there are areas in my life He wants me to shift, change, and grow in. And maybe the women who are here are feeling that. Change is never easy.
No. Change will challenge us.
Mm.
And it does take courage to step into those challenges, doesn't it? We can't always know or see what the future holds. And it would be easy, I think, maybe in some ways, for you not to take on this challenge.
Oh, it'd be super easy. I walk 5 miles a day already.
Mm-hmm.
It would be super easy for me to just keep walking this out here in the US.
Yes.
And keep doing what I have been doing as a coach, as a wife, as a mom, as a grandma, as a friend, a community member.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I know about change, and one thing that I know about the cost of not answering an invitation that the Lord invites you into, is that when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain or the challenge of change, that's when it's time to listen. Because as a woman who coaches courage, I want to be the woman who practices it and lives it every day, every single day. That's why I challenge myself. And I know that there's something on the other side of this Camino for me.
Nice.
I don't know what it is. I have no idea, but I know God's going to meet me there. It's kind of like when I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane several years ago. I had to find life on the other side of my fears. I believe that there is something that the Lord is going to show me as I walk step by step my Camino experience.
I'm really excited for you. I have many clients who have done that as a way
Really?
of celebrating life, jumping out of a plane. Yeah, I'm not doing that. My thought is, what's going to happen to my knees? But yeah, I just love the idea of taking these challenges and saying yes to these invitations. And one thing I know about you is that you not only speak truth, but you try to walk in it. And this is a part of what you're stepping into here is the next truth for you. What is God showing you? And so my question is, who do you choose to be by saying yes to this?
Ooh, I like that. That's a really powerful question. And ladies, this is real coaching in the moment. Who do I choose to be? I choose to be a woman. I choose to be a woman, a full-grown woman.
Yeah.
I choose to be a woman who will honor her capacity. I choose to be a woman who will walk my talk. I choose to be a woman right here in this moment with all of you that I do not need to prove my worth. My worth has already been given to me by the creator of the universe. And so whether I do the all 500 miles or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My worth has already been fully established as a daughter of the Most High God. And so I choose to be that woman who truly believes that obedience to God doesn't mean doing everything perfectly, but to live my values and receive the worth that God has given me wholeheartedly.
I love that. That is very well said. And what I hear in that is obedience. Yeah.
It is. And sometimes obedience is hard, Diana, because sometimes we think obedience to God requires us to justify our choices to other people. I can imagine there are people that are listening here right now, like some of the people in my life that they think I'm a little bit crazy for doing something like this. I'm going to be on the trail for about 7 weeks.
Well, I have friends who have done this. I think what I love about what you're doing is the journey leaves you open to experience. And it's a great opportunity for you to walk in God's beauty and connect with him. And what better time to get away and get unplugged and to really hear some strong truths about it's going to be challenging, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, it is. And thank you for presencing that and just really validating what it is that I'm experiencing, on the inside. And, I don't have to over this decision. I don't have to over explain or over justify it. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to explain God's decision for me. I don't have to do that. What I can do is I can listen to the Lord. I can respond to his call on my life, and I can move forward without overing. I get to choose to live God's invitation as a woman who is fully enough. Fully enough. And we lost Diana again. So we're going to pray that she comes back in. We were in the middle of our coaching session. So we're going to pause it now. We're going to end it, close it, because we're going to get to some questions here in just a minute. But I would love to hear, what is it that perhaps you want to take away from Diana and my interaction? Diana did a beautiful job of helping me go a little bit deeper with what I'm about to do next April and May. So what are you going to take away from my interaction with Diana when she was coaching me? Strategies.
Did we talk about what you're taking away, Leanne, for being coached around this?
Oh, we did not, because you're confused.
You lost me again. I just moved just a little bit and everything disconnected. I'm not in my typical place today, so I apologize to our audience. I don't have all my equipment with me.
Hey, that's okay. Okay, so here's the deal. You're gonna bring it home, and that's what a good coach does, right? She lands the plane. Diana's not gonna let me wiggle out.
No.
Diana's not gonna let me wiggle out for what did I take away. What you, friends, have taken away from our coaching session, I would love to see that in the chat.
We're going to make an answer.
Yeah, what I will share is that, I think diving into this a little bit deeper has given me, I'm more resolute.
I love that.
I'm a little calmer about it. The more I share that I'm going to do this verbally,
Yes.
the more real it becomes. Because I don't know, we do not have every detail worked out. We have our flights booked. I have the bookends. Leave April 8th, come back May 21st.
Wow.
That I know.
Yeah.
The middle, all the details in between that, and who God is going to call me to meet, even the parts of myself I don't know yet. That's uncertain. But I'm okay about that, because I think the clarity that you helped me come to by doing this little coaching has given me more courage to walk forward.
Courage is a big word, Leanne. And here you are, so determined to go, and you've already have all your plans made, and yet you're testifying to, now I have a bit more courage to do this. And so what I heard you saying was, courage isn't fully on board. I'm stepping into this challenge and trusting that I'll have what I need. Yeah. And so I want to say to our ladies and our audience that you don't have to have 100% courage to step into what God is calling you to, and to believe that He is enough and that you are equipped with all that you need that pertains to life and godliness. And this is a real trust journey for you, isn't it?
Well, it is. I'm going to be out there on the trail, vulnerable. I'm going to carry my own pack. I'm going to be doing all the things.
Yeah.
I'm an overpacker. So this is my insecurity. We'll probably have to have another coaching session around this, because I'm an overpacker. Yeah. And I am going to purpose, Diana, to carry just 12 pounds for 7 weeks.
You'll have to rewash clothes for sure. Are you guys going to be staying in hostels?
All the things.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
All the things. And, ladies, this is what coaching does. So I received coaching live here in the moment. I received some coaching and did some self-coaching in order for me to answer the invitation that God has given me. None of the coaches in my life, and I hope you heard Diana model this beautifully. A coach is not going to tell you who to be or what to say. A coach, and in our Empowered to Change program, we walk you through as coaches to help you see yourself more clearly and to hear the voice of God more honestly than you ever have before. This is why we have Empowered to Change, so that we can walk with you as a coaching team as you practice living in truth, as you invest time, energy, and your capacity. You invest it all in yourself, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it feels a little unsteady.
Absolutely.
Because investing in yourself is not selfish, it's stewardship. And that was another lie that I had to overcome, Diana, was that investing with myself and doing this walk was not selfish. It was stewarding me so that I can be the best me moving forward in 2026. And I believe that.
I do too. And so my question to the audience is, what would steward your growth now? And I love that I know you well enough that I know you plan and you continue challenging yourself. And so as a testimony to all of us watching, I just want to ask the audience, where will you challenge yourself next? Where will your step of growth be? Because it doesn't happen unless we intend it.
Diana, what you just said there was so powerful. It doesn't happen unless we intend it. And so we are setting some intentions. I'll be setting intentions from now until I, return. Well, I'll be setting intentions every day for my life.
Yes.
So that I can continue to grow in the Lord, because I know for one thing for sure, the Lord has called me into maturing in Him. And maturing in Him does not require me to have validation, acceptance, or approval from other people.
Oh, let's say that again.
Oh, I have no idea what I just said. What did you just hear me say, Coach?
I forgot the first part, but validation, acceptance, and approval from others doesn't come from what, ladies? So validation, acceptance, and let me say it backwards. Validations, acceptance, and approval doesn't come from others. It comes from us stepping into what God has called us to and challenging ourselves in those things.
Beautifully restated. And this is one of the beauties of coaching, is our coach will help remind us what we have discovered. And so we do this live on Zoom every other week in Empowered to Change. It is open right now. And as coaches and as a team, we're going to walk with you into change for 2026, whatever it might be. Your change might not be walking 500 miles in 30 some days.
I can't.
Your change might be understanding that you can pause and take a breath before you enter into a conversation. Your change may be cultivating boundaries. Your change might be not getting stuck in the messy middle of life and decision making. Because when we acknowledge and recognize our worth, oh my goodness, the change becomes sustainable and transformational, no matter what's happening in the world around us.
Yeah. And the truth is, Leanne, you're not walking this alone. You're going with a friend. And I love that you don't have to do it alone. And I love that, you don't, we're inviting you not to step into the change alone either. You can lock arm in arms with us. We are inviting you to believe that you truly are enough and you can recognize your worth. And again, it's independent of your achievements or others' approval. And we want to walk you into what that looks like for you personally, individually, and with one another.
Oh, I love that, Diana. And it is a warm invitation. And I think we've got a couple of questions in the chat, but I do want to present something. So maybe this is resonating a lot with you ladies. And maybe you're wondering, well, how do we, as a coaching team here on Leslie's, team, have the confidence to keep doing our own work and growing? Wow. Here's the deal. 2 Peter 1:3 says this, and this is where I hang my hat. His divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness. And through the knowledge of God who has called us into his glory and excellence, there we shall go. There we shall go. And so we want to live what we believe. And I believe you do too, or you wouldn't be here on these lives with us. And so here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. If you're ready, not maybe necessarily to join Empowered to Change, but if you're ready to walk into 2026 with a learner's mindset, open to what God has for you, will you just type ready into the chat? I believe, Diana, like you said, intention setting is a game changer.
Absolutely. It's everything. I mean,
sometimes when we see it in black and white or when we type it with our fingers,
right?
I'm ready. It's something inside of our body, spirit, mind, and soul shifts. It does for me.
So
some ladies, ready.
Here's a question I think we should answer. This is a hard concept for me to really grasp, to be enough. There are so many external things telling me that I am not enough. I don't know how to push beyond the lies and be able to embrace my enoughness. Help.
Sister, it's a hard concept for me to grasp too, and I struggle with it.
Yes. Yes.
Every day, you are not alone. And so for you, I would, Diane, I know you want to add to this, but what I would say, so this is what I've done. I had to define enoughness for me.
That's a good start.
I had to get really clear on what is it that I wanted to embrace. I had to know, I had to ask God, and this is as simple for me as putting one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly and taking a really big breath and saying, God, what do I need to know about my enoughness? What am I missing? What can I not see without you? Because I would get stuck in a space of believing that I will become enough if I do more. And God was calling me to be who he created me to be, not to do more. What would you add, Diana?
Well, as I was listening to you express that so wonderfully, I'm thinking that externalizing our enoughness to other people will keep us broken. And our enoughness has to be grounded in who God says we are. And so for me, that power, the courage, and the confidence comes when I look internally, right? Rather than externally, because I will never meet the demands of everyone outside of me, or even my idea of comparing myself to what I think they want or need from me in my head. But when I look at the Word of God and I reflect on who He says I am, and I try to take His truths in internally to dispel those lies, I find renewed strength and confidence to fight those, I'll use the word demons, that would seek to keep me slain, to be quite honest, and to destroy my life. And it is a constant battle. And there are times where it's harder for us than others, and this might be a time for you. And then, Leanne, we need people in our lives who will speak truth to us, right? Who are wise stewards of their lives, who can walk with us and empower us and treat us with respect, kindness, and honesty. And that contributes to our sense of worth.
Diana, that was so beautifully said, especially when it comes to enoughness. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who have chosen to be here with us and share in this, conversation, what is speaking to you? How will the gift that you've given yourself these last 50 minutes or so, how will it impact you? I'm thinking about the Christmas season. And I've been loving Advent. I've been spending quite a bit of time with the whole concept of Advent. And it's been showing me areas in my life where I can have unhealthy views of hope, joy, peace, and love. And when it comes to decision making, sometimes the unhealthy views of those areas can keep us stuck. It can keep us paralyzed. And it can keep me in a place of fear and self-doubt. I have no doubt that I will have self-doubt in the weeks and months leading up to my walk. And I am grateful that I will have you and Susan and Leslie, our community, my friends, my family, and most of all, my God, to remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think, Diana, when we know the why behind why we want to make the change in our lives that we do, it propels us forward so we don't get stuck in the messy middle.
That's a really important point to come back to, Leanne. And I think as a part of the coaching that we did, cementing in your why, for me, hearing your why, those are not superficial whys. Those are really deep, life altering, and I think self grounding whys. And if, I love that, there are things that you need to hear from God, and places in your life that he wants to speak into. And I think really that's our invitation to our audience as well, right?
Well, it is. And, here's the deal. I'm answering the question today. And Diana, you so beautifully coached me. And ladies, you held space for me. Who would I be if I truly believed I was enough? That's the topic of our time together today. Who would you be? And do you know the why behind it? And when I look at the questions that are coming in our feed, Diana,
Yes.
here it is. Okay, here's another question. And this speaks so tenderly to, and I'm right here with you, sister. This is where I was when I got the invitation from the Lord to step on my Camino. Don't you think God grieves over how some of us view ourselves? We are his masterpiece.
Yes.
Diana, could you speak to that a little bit? Y'all know my passion with Psalm 139. But what would you add in, Diana?
Well, he says that we are his workmanship in Christ Jesus, created for good works in him. And I think how you define good works makes a big difference. And I think that we have allowed others to define what good works are. And it's really time for us to look and see, what does God consider a good work? And we are his workmanship. He is crafting and molding us and changing us to his image. And we're all so and this is what I love about the work that we do, because we are all so unique. And as we spend time working with you in our groups, identifying your values, how you want to walk out your life, we get to see how everyone is uniquely different and how similar some of our journeys are, so that you end up being unique and also knowing that you're not alone. But I do think God grieves because he sees who we're meant to be. And I think, as God grieves over sin, I think it's really sin that prevents and shapes and distorts us from his eternal plan, from his original plan. And so, yeah. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just love that. That was beautiful. High five. High five, coach.
Yeah.
This is part of what we get to do together here in this space. And, this goes into our next question from Instagram. It becomes a hard task when you are reminded and told daily that you are not enough. Can you speak more how to navigate this? And this is what we're talking about here. And this is, Diana helped me to see today that okay, so here it is. I'm much more than my decision to walk the Camino. I am much more than a coach on this team. I am much more than somebody's wife, Grammy, or mother. And so the Lord's really clear in scripture. And he wants us to continue to get our face in the book, not Facebook.
That's a good one.
But his word.
Yes.
And this is where we can go when other people try and erase us, diminish us. What's the other? Abandoned us or reject us, because it's going to happen. I've lived all of those from the womb forward. reclaiming our worth, reclaiming our enoughness in Christ is our gift that we give back to God. And there's not a better time than Christmas to give back to God what He has given us. That's our lives. That's our eternity, our salvation, and us living fully alive for Him, letting go of overing for others.
Wonderfully said, Leanne. Yeah. So I think today is an invitation to you to let go of the lie that you're not enough and begin to live from what God has said about you. Living differently is possible. We are discussing that today, and stepping into what is true about yourself can become your reality.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. You can live differently when you truly believe what is already true about you.
Absolutely.
Diana, such a beautiful time with you today.
I love this time together, and I appreciate you so much, Leanne. And I want to wish our audience a Merry Christmas. Whatever you are moving through, know that you are enough, and that He loves you deeply, and that we care and love you as well.
We surely do. Ladies, thank you for typing into the chat your takeaways. And I want to just presence a couple that I have read. Other people's opinion of me is not who I am. We get to give back to God. That is so special. He wants to see us in our full capacity and our potential.
Absolutely.
Ladies, thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas. We have another live coming up. Let me tell you when that is. I think it is. It's going to be after Christmas, right, Diana?
It's Monday on the 29th at noon. And our topic will be, how can I be kind without enabling?
Oh, now doesn't that dovetail beautifully to what we talked
Absolutely.
about today?
Yes.
You won't want to miss it. Mark your calendars for Monday. Well, everybody, I wish we could just be here all day. This time has gone so quickly. Thank you all for joining us. You are loved, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.